My name's Alba Arango, and this is my living room. It's also my favorite room in the house to read because, if you haven't noticed, I love Disney. And when me and all my Disney friends are together, we like to read mysteries. Do you like mysteries? Well, I hope so, because today I'm hoping to share one of my mysteries with you. It's called the Magic Sapphire. So the Magic Sapphire is the first book in a series where the kids solve mysteries that even adults don't know how to solve. So I think before I get into the book itself, I want to tell you a little bit about the characters so you know who we're talking about here. First of all, we have Steve. So Steve is kind of like the leader of the trio, and a lot of the other kids kind of consider him a nerd because he's like super smart. I mean, like super smart. Like smarter than most kids and even kind of smarter than some adults. Although we don't talk about that because you know how adults get when kids are smarter than them. But Steve's got it going on. And he's definitely the one that's going to help the three of them figure out the clues into this mystery. Then we have Jenny. So Jenny's the adventurous one. She's the one who is fearless and has no problem leading the trio into situations that maybe might be a little more dangerous than she should be leading them into. But she has definitely got sass, and she has definitely got spunk, and she is definitely the heart of the trio. So you gotta love Jenny. Which leads us to Matt. So Matt does not like danger. Matt likes to be safe. And as the most athletic of the three of them, he also considers himself sort of like their protector. So when there is danger, he's always the first to step up and confront it to protect his friends. Oh, he also likes to eat. The boy loves to eat. He is seriously always eating. I'm guessing some of you guys can probably relate to that, huh? Always eating. Anyways, so let's get into this story so that you know what the Magic Sapphire is all about. Our story begins when Steve buys a mysterious backpack at an auction and finds a secret compartment hiding a poem called El Alma de Dios. Now, it turns out that the poem is actually a treasure map leading to a mysterious treasure called the Magic Sapphire. The thing is, the poem was written by a pirate named Elias Darby, who, at the end of his life, became a priest and then wrote the poem hiding the jewel so that only a good person could find the jewel. So he set booby traps, and the clues in the poem are the way to survive the booby traps. So now our three detectives have to figure out the clues or get trapped in booby traps. So let's see if you can figure out some of these clues before the decoders do. They reached the opening of the cave in 20 minutes. The three friends took out their cell phones and turned the flashlight apps on. Steve held up his copy of the poem. Okay. The next part says, behind the eye reveals the path. Once we get inside the cave, look for anything that can be related with the letter I. The others nodded, and Matt led the way into the cave. Whoa! This cave is a lot bigger on the inside than it looks from the outside. They found themselves in a cave over 30 feet deep and almost 40 feet wide. They spread out to search for the next clue. Look at the walls, Matt called out. All flashlights pointed to the walls. They were covered with etchings. Jenny stared at the dozen of ancient pictures. This is weird. How do we know what to look for? Matt asked. Steve's flashlight scanned the cave. Our only clue is behind the eye, so look for something like an eye. The three friends pored over the walls, looking at each picture individually, hoping to find the next clue. I don't see anything that looks like an eye, Matt said after a few minutes of searching. Just a bunch of crazy drawings. Here's one of an owl. Here's a mountain. Right above it, there's one that looks like a fire inside of a nest or something. Next to it, there's one of a horse with wings. I mean, how do we know which picture is our clue? Steve began studying all the other drawings. Keep looking. The answer is here somewhere. They looked at every etching over and over, but found nothing resembling an eye. Finally, Matt sat down. This is crazy. I think only God knows where the magic sapphire is. Oh, come on, Matt. Don't give up. Steve stopped in mid-sentence and whirled around. That's it. That's the answer. Did you get it? Did you get what the answer is? Something Matt said gave Steve the clue to figure it out. Did you catch it? Let's look at what Matt said again. This is crazy. I think only God knows where the magic sapphire is. Did you get it? Let's look at the clue again. Okay, let's see what Steve figured out. Come on, Matt, don't give up. Steve stopped in mid-sentence and whirled around. That's it! What's it? Jenny asked. Matt, he said, ignoring Jenny's question. Where did you see that picture of a mountain? Over there, near the ground. Why? Steve ran to the spot. Yes! Over here! He motioned for them to join him. Matt and Jenny crowded around the picture Steve pointed to. Do you remember in the Old Testament when God first appeared to Moses? Without waiting for an answer, Steve continued. Moses saw something on the mountain he had to go investigate. Look! Here's the mountain. He pointed to the picture of the large mountain Matt had originally seen. And, Steve continued, he saw something he could not believe. A burning bush, Jenny blurted out. Exactly. Steve tried to control his excitement. That's not a fire in a nest, Matt. It's a burning bush. Remember what God called himself? He said for Moses to tell the people, I am who I am, had sent him. The ultimate I in the Bible is God, or the burning bush. Did you figure that out? I mean, it's a priest saying the clues. Of course the I had to be God. And of course, the first major I in the Bible is the burning bush. That's how he figured it out. Now, if you found that a little hard, that's good. We want you to. I want you to become a detective and start to use your brain and think of things. So, let's try another one. Are you ready for the next clue? Flashlights in hand, they moved forward slowly. Every step made Steve's heart beat faster as their flashlights scanned the walls, ground, and ceiling for another one of Darby's booby traps. After a few minutes of silence, he motioned for his companions to stop. What's wrong? Jenny asked in a voice barely above a whisper. He pointed to the ground in front of them. Look at the floor. The light from his flashlight showed huge carvings in the ground, each about 2 feet wide. Matt bent down. They looked like giant letters. L, V, C, I, X. What's that supposed to mean? Jenny asked. Matt grinned. Maybe he really loves shoes. Get it? L, V, C, I, X. Love, kicks. Matt laughed at his own joke. Ignoring his friend, Steve held the flashlight up to the poem. The next part of the poem says, to face the final battle, one must jump the 5. The 5 what? Jenny moved her flashlight across the markings. The 5 letters? You think Darby meant we're not supposed to walk on the letters, but jump over them? Steve hesitated. It's possible. She pointed at the poem. What else could it mean? There are 5 letters, and he specifically said to jump the 5. I'm pretty sure he meant to follow it exactly. Matt shrugged. Jen's probably right. Jumping the letters would be following his instructions. Steve shook his head. I don't know. It just sounds too easy. All of Darby's clues have needed some interpreting. That sounds too simple. Maybe he's giving us a break, Matt stood. He probably figured if we made it this far, we deserve a break. Jenny nodded. I think Matt's right. I'll jump the 5 letters. 5 letters, Steve mumbled. Matt looked at the giant letters, trying to calculate the distance. I don't know, Jen. Maybe I should go first. I'm more athletic. Exactly why I should go first, she protested. If anything goes wrong, then I'll jump back and I need you over here to catch me. He paused for a moment and finally gave a quick nod. You're right, but if you feel or hear anything weird, jump right back. Understand? Jenny patted his shoulder. I'll be fine. And if anything goes wrong, I promise I'll jump back like super fast. Matt positioned himself next to Jenny. Ready? Ready. She bent her knees, preparing to jump. Here I go. No, wait! Steve grabbed Jenny's arm and yanked her backwards. She lost her balance and fell. Matt caught her before she hit the ground. What happened? Matt asked as he helped Jenny regain her balance. Yeah, Steve. She steadied herself. You almost broke my arm. He pointed to the poem. When Darby said one must jump the 5, he didn't mean the 5 letters. Did you get it? Do you know what he means? It's not the 5 letters. Look at the clue again. Did you get it? Let's see what Steve figured out. What happened? Matt asked as he helped Jenny regain her balance. Yeah, Steve, she steadied herself. You almost broke my arm. He pointed to the poem. When Darby said one must jump the 5, he didn't mean the 5 letters, but the number 5. Jenny rubbed her arm. What are you talking about? Darby did mean for us to follow his instructions exactly. In Roman numerals, the number 5 is a capital V. So when Darby said to jump the 5, he meant to jump over the V, Jenny said. Now, did you figure that one out? If you did, you've got the makings of a pretty good detective. Now, there are a lot more clues in here, but I'm not giving any more away because time is up. So, one more time, the book is The Magic Sapphire. So, if you guys want to finish the book and see if you can figure out the rest of the clues before the decoders do, then be sure to buy the book on any one of these platforms and be sure to follow me on social media. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Alba Arango 007 or on Facebook at Alba Arango author page, and I hope to see you guys trying to solve mysteries and be like the decoders. Okay, I love you all so much. Mwah.